You're in your car, driving in Texas. You left Houston. You're going towards the northwest, towards the Rocky Mountains. And then you stop at a gas station on the highway. And then you realize, hold on a minute. Look at all this land here. Why would I worry and stress about finding an apartment and a mortgage in Houston if there's all this land here? Why can't I and a few people not just move out of here, start our own village and live here in ease? So, because you're on your way, you realize, oh man, there's more land. So it's not an inevitability that I have to spend years of my life at a 9-to-5 job to pay off a mortgage. You see more options. Now, if you want to limit someone's perception so they won't see that they have more options, you need to convince them that there aren't any more options. How do you do that? Either you keep them distracted with entertainment or with hard work. But if that doesn't work, you need something else. What do you do then? You construct blocks with new apartments and new houses that look good. You even put expensive cars over there in the gardens to give the illusion someone's living there, but nobody lives there. And you construct many of those neighborhoods throughout the country. So when someone thinks, you know what, I don't want to live in this city anymore, I want to start over somewhere else, they're going to see, there are beautiful apartments over there, beautiful houses. And then they look at the price, think $2 million or $400,000, oh man, I can't afford that. And then when they drive through those neighborhoods, they see men walking in suits, women walking with bags and with expensive jewelry. And they think the people that live here really made it in life. It's a hoax. Those people in that neighborhood are actors. They're not even allowed to stay in those houses. They are there to give the illusion that wealthy people are living there. Why is that? That is to keep you trapped in this battery system called the matrix. That is to keep you as a supply for the evil spirits. Because once you see other options, that there are more options, you're going to embrace those options. You have to know the big rules of the world of one, that they want you to remain in this state of anxiety in which you need relief all the time. Relief from that anxiety. So, now that you understand this, think about other things that may be a deception. Population numbers. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, okay? I'm not going to state something and you guys just have to figure it out. No, I'm telling you to consider it. I may be wrong, but just consider it. If they are constructing blocks, even small villages that aren't inhabited, only to confuse you into staying into the matrix, then wouldn't it be easy for them also to fake population numbers, saying, for example, that there are 2 million people living in a city, even though the actual number are maybe 700,000? How can you lie that there are 2 million people if there are just 700,000? First of all, such big numbers, the mind has difficulty to comprehend them, so you can easily trick people into thinking there are 2 million folks instead, even though there are just 700,000. If you only have 100,000 people living somewhere, and there's traffic all the time, you put all those tall, those high buildings, those skyscrapers with many apartments in it, even though nobody lives in those apartments, you can easily convince people that there are millions living here. Don't you know that some of those skyscrapers are designed to deceive you? Just think about it. Who in the right mind who want to live on the 70th floor or the 60th floor. Who in the right mind would do that? If you want to live somewhere, you want to live close to the ground or in an apartment that's stable. Skyscrapers, they are safe if they're constructed well. Because in the beginning, when they began to build skyscrapers, some of them crashed due to the wind. And if you're in a skyscraper and there's a lot of wind, you can feel like the building is moving. Because the building is moving, but because it's stable in the material, it doesn't crash, but you still feel it moving. I experienced that when I was in Japan, in those skyscrapers. So who in the right mind who want to live that high in a luxurious apartment where they can feel that they're moving? Who in the right mind would do that, especially if you have a lot of cash? It doesn't add up. Man, those skyscrapers are built to deceive you into thinking that the population is very high. And when you believe the population is very high, you're going to think, oh, if there are 5 million people living in this small area and there's not enough food for everyone, there's going to be a big fight. Oh dear, we need to have the police here, because if those people lose it, things going wrong. Or better, we need to regulate the economy much better so that everyone has enough, or else. And if they also add those crime rituals in it, you're going to think, oh dear, there's so many people here, not everyone can get a job, and now people are losing it, so then you're anxious. So it can be that they claim that there are 5 million people living in a city, while in fact there are only 300,000 really living there, actual human beings living over there. But the skyscrapers and the fake blocks, where you have fake addresses, combined with the, let's say, crime rituals already. Well, I'm saying with the crime rituals, all of this gives you the impression as if this city has 5 million people is very populous, and it may give you the impression, well, there are too many people on the earth, so we shouldn't have that many children anymore. And then 40 years later, it becomes obvious that that city didn't have 5 million people, because where are those 5 million people? And the population decreased, and now there's a big shortage. And now people can't understand where the shortage comes from. There's a shortage because you were told there were 5 million people in this city, while there were only maybe 300,000. And those 300,000 people should have had sufficient children to replace them. But now the population is declining from 300,000 to 110,000. And that's a big drop in the population. Almost 2/3. And now much of the places that were occupied by real people are now empty. Now the economy is crashing, but you still have those skyscrapers. You still have those blocks with rich people, with rich folks living there. It's a hoax. Why would they lie? Because they worship the beast and they want to keep you in a negative. Why do you think that many of those villas or bungalows are so expensive, especially if you live in Europe or in North America or in any other Western country? You can go to Suriname and you can come there with $10,000 and you can purchase a big villa with 4 rooms, with big rooms in it, and there's even a garage there in a tropical landscape. You can do that, $10,000. And for such a house in the United States, you would pay maybe $5 million or $8 million. Who has that amount of money? How are you going to earn such a lot amount of money? Here's the thing, those $1 million houses aren't worth millions of dollars. They may be worth maybe $30,000. Maybe they constructed a house, a villa like that, and it only cost $30,000 to build it. So maybe it's only worth $40,000 or $45,000, but it's put $5 million over there. You seriously think someone pays $5 million for that house? They don't. Those houses are rented by cult members to reside in it once in a while, and some of them nobody is even allowed to rent them. People just come visit them to give the illusion that you need to work hard in life or else you won't get anything. And as evidence that you need to work hard, they reveal to you, you see the guy over there? He worked very hard to look at the beautiful house he's living in. You don't live in a beautiful house because you're not working hard. You're lazy, you're this and that. They begin to accuse you. Even though it's a deception. I'm telling you, keep your eyes open. The paying rulers of this world are willing to lie about a lot of stuff. And they do. So, if they're willing to invest all that money in putting chemtrails above your head, forming pyramid shapes, forming pentacles, forming all kinds of pagan symbols, if they're willing to go that far to spend billions on putting all those chemtrails above you, then why wouldn't they lie about the size of the world's population? Why wouldn't they lie about the population of cities? Why wouldn't they build those high skyscrapers and they're really there only for the show to deceive you? They would, and they're doing it. I'm not saying that this is the case everywhere, but it happens. And about China, saying that China is so populated, there are too many people living there, yet you have cities there that are called ghost cities because you have skyscrapers there, you have luxurious apartments, but nobody lives there. They're empty. Why did China construct those cities while nobody lives in them? So hold on a minute. So there is space to build ghost towns. So China is not overpopulated because they have space to build cities where nobody lives. And China has so much censorship, the Chinese people don't notice this. Why is China constructing all those towns where nobody lives? You know it now. To give off the illusion that China is so highly populated. Maybe China doesn't have 1.4 billion people. Maybe China only has really 350 million people, 400 million people. I don't know the exact numbers, but there is some deception in this. Again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just alerting you to be alert. Don't believe everything you're being told by this world, especially not mainstream media. They lie about a lot of stuff. It's not just fake news. They fake a lot of things. They even fake populations of cities. Why? To keep people trapped in a state of anxiety. To let them think, I'm just a number. I'm a nobody. There are 4 million people living here, so who cares about me? If I die today, nobody's going to mourn about me. If I need a job, well, there's so many millions out of me. It's all to make you feel insignificant and stupid. And by you feeling that way, you are more than willing to have someone to validate you. So you won't operate in your natural value as Christ intends. Think about this, but above all, agree with Christ. Be at peace.